Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Knows.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Espionage this hour with Counterspy, starring Don McLaughlin and Mandel-Kramer. This episode, entitled The Case of the Murdering Messenger, was originally broadcast August 25th, 1949.
Pepsi-Cola, P-E-P-S-I, that's your smartest cola buy. Pepsi-Cola presents Counterspy.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy. Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Harding, Counterspy, calling Washington.
United States Counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
Tonight, the case of the murdering messenger. Another Counterspy report to the American people. In espionage, the penalty for mistakes is death. Every member of the guilty spy ring is doomed by its faraway superiors. Yet the sentence is rarely carried out by direct means. The watchwords are concealment and mystery. In the city of Detroit, a small branch library stands in a quiet side street. One morning, a young man with eyes alert entered the building and went to the main reading room.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, sir.
I want to turn this book in.
Julius Caesar's Commentaries. In the original Latin.
Yes.
You're quite a student, Mr. Argyle.
Caesar was quite a boy.
Are you taking out another book?
No, I'm leaving Detroit very soon. Goodbye, and thanks a lot.
Goodbye, Mr. Argyle.
I beg your pardon.
Yes, sir?
I was looking on the shelves for Julius Caesar's Commentaries, but it doesn't seem to be there.
No, it's right here. Our only copy was just returned a moment ago. Do you want to take it out?
Yes, please. Here's my library card. Harry J. Peters. From Peters, Counterspy Field Office, Detroit, to David Harding, Washington. Have just received coded report from Counterspy George Argyle, operating undercover inside foreign spy ring in United States. Code used, alternate word and line transposition. What are your orders?
Peters, have message decoded in Detroit and hold there. I'm flying Detroit immediately.
Mr. Harding, this is the original message Argyle left for me in the library book, disguised as a letter home.
Thanks, Peter. Still addresses me as Aunt Bessie.
Here's the decoded transcript, Aunt Betsy.
Thanks, Junior. Dear Mr. Harding, trouble ahead. Last night, the only man in the spy ring I ever saw was killed in a car smash out on Woodward Avenue. A fake accident.
There was an accident, Dave, and a man was killed.
What's more, I've been ordered to leave my job in the turbojet factory here and go to Memphis, Tennessee. I think the superiors of the spy ring now realize that someone has fed them nothing but false information for a year. I don't believe they know I was the one, but evidently all members of the ring are to be moved around.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, I don't like that either, Peters. We still don't know who the other members of the ring are.
It may be getting dangerous. Want to pull Argyle out?
And lose 3 years of our work and preparation? Still, I don't want Argyle to be left entirely alone in Memphis.
Is Aunt Bessie worried?
Definitely. Argyle adds here that he'll be at the Hotel Lee. Peters, brush up on your southern accent. You're going to be there, too.
Argyle?
Yes?
I'm the hotel fire inspector.
Oh, come in. Good to see you, Peters.
Any news, Argyle?
I got this postcard today.
From the Southern Beauty Tourist Bureau, Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Guided tours of historic Southland. See monuments and battlegrounds of the war between the states. Special feature, visit the High Mountain Caves.
You'll notice that last one is circled in red ink, the High Mountain Caves. And notice here in the schedule of tours...
Yes. Another circle of red ink around the date Thursday, 5 p.m.
Obviously, that's when my next contact with the spy ring's to be made.
Well, look, Argyle, I'd better join the group, too.
I think that'll be too risky, Peters. Those tourist groups aren't very large. Whoever the contact is will take a good look at everybody.
Well, how are you to be recognized?
My name is known to the ring. I'll simply give it when I buy my ticket for the tour. Then I'll just wait and see what happens.
Now, folks, we're pretty near finished our tour. Famous High Mountain Cave. Scene of beauty with the stalactites, stalagmites. Kind of scary, too. One more little demonstration before we step outside again into our lovely southern evening. This here underground river we've been following from one of these caves to another ends right here, you see, in a deep well or chasm. Leave me tell you, the fellow that falls down here ain't never coming up. See this rock? I'm going to drop it down. Now, you'll have to listen hard to hear the splash. Ready? There she goes. Well, that was that. Now, if you'll be so good as to step to the exit there, the bus will return us to Memphis and to your hotels. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excuse me, folks. Wait out there just a minute. One of our members seems to be missing here. I'll locate him. I'll be right out here. Hey, mister. Mister? Hey, there you are.
Help, please. Good heavens, my friend. You've been stabbed.
Guide, get me to a doctor, quick.
But the knife.
Don't pull it out, don't.
But I must. Otherwise, how can I finish you off for good?
Stabbed to death right there in the caves, Peters?
That's right, Mr. Harding. It was my fault. I should have gone right with Argyle, no matter what he said.
Oh, now, don't blame yourself, Peters. You took every reasonable precaution. How are the police handling the case?
All members of the tour have been questioned except the guide. He's disappeared, so he must have been the murderer.
Peters, in my opinion, this spy ring isn't just being moved around. It's being wiped out.
Well, Dave, there's one way to make sure. Let me take Argyle's place.
Good idea, but how?
First, to squib in the papers that Argyle was only wounded. Second, I'll enter a hospital under his name.
Well, the murderer will make another try, Peters.
All right, let him, Dave. That's exactly what we want.
Nurse, you said Mr. Argyle had this here room?
Go right in, sir.
Mr. Argyle. How fortunate you were to have lost nothing but a little blood. May I sit down by your bed? I was about to visit you at your hotel, Mr. Argyle, when I read in the papers of the attempt on your life in the High Mountain Cave. So I came straight here to the hospital. I'm surprised, if I may say so, to find you alive, receiving visitors.
It was only a flesh wound, Mr.
Forgive me, Mr. Argyle. My name is Anthony Blix, B-L-I-X, the Tri-State Travel Agency. The reason I was so anxious to see you was to give you this. Your river steamship ticket from Memphis to New Orleans. The one you ordered through our office?
Oh, yes, of course.
The boat leaves on Tuesday, Mr. Argyle. Will you be able to travel?
I think so, if I take it easy.
I'm delighted.
Will I be seeing you again, Mr. Blix?
The world is growing so small, Mr. Argyle, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Oh, by the way, we were unable to get you a cabin entirely to yourself. I'm sorry to say you'll have a cabin mate. Goodbye.
To Aunt Bessie from Nephew Argyle. First contact made. Anthony Blix of Tri-State Travel Agency, Memphis. Next contact may be somebody on riverboat to New Orleans.
Thank you, Stuart. Put my suitcase down here. Then you may go.
Yes.
I beg your pardon?
Good morning.
What are you doing in this cabin?
My ticket says I was booked in here.
Why are you lying down? Are you ill?
I'm recovering from an accident.
It's ridiculous.
There was nothing ridiculous about it.
I mean, you're being booked into this cabin when I was booked in here, too.
Obviously a mistake.
Obviously.
I'll have myself moved right
No,
out.
no. It's easier for me. You're halfway settled already. I'll ring for the steward.
Buttons right here.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr.
Argyle.
Argyle. Well, I'm sorry I was angry. My name is Valerie Arden. Are you going to stay in New Orleans after we get there?
That's hard to say. How about you?
I live in New Orleans, Mr. Argyle, even though I'm English. Listen, Argyle, I have your next instructions.
Yes?
On reaching New Orleans, you're to see a man named Avery L. Clark, River Road, number 821.
Yes.
Tell him I sent you and say that you're applying for the job he has open in Los Angeles. Clear?
Clear. There's the steward.
Just a minute, steward. Well, Mr. Argyle, I do hope your fever's better.
It was a knife wound, Miss Arden.
A knife? Good gracious, if I had to kill anyone, I'd use poison or a gun, wouldn't you? Knives are so uncertain, aren't they?
To Aunt Betsy from Nephew Argyle. Boat contact made by one Valerie Arden. Next contact in New Orleans. Avery L. Clark, 821 River Road.
To Argyle from Aunt Betsy. On arriving New Orleans, register Hotel Esplanade. You will be given room 484. I will be there with Lieutenant Fabian of New Orleans Police. See you tonight.
Nice to know you, Peters, or Argyle. Which is it?
Peters will be safe, Lieutenant Fabian, in this hotel room anyway. Any news, Mr. Harding?
Well, I've ordered a complete checkup on that man Blix back in Memphis, Peters. I expect a report very soon.
About Valerie Arden, Peters. She really lives here in New Orleans, runs a high-toned gift shop. About Avery L. Clark, all we know is that he's in the sugar business.
Well, Dave, Valerie Arden said I'm to talk to Clark about going to Los Angeles.
Well, I think that's just talk, Peters. I'm pretty sure now that every member of this spy ring is marked for death by its own employers abroad. Clark may try to kill you.
I'll have to take that chance, Dave.
Peters, did either Blix or the woman act like they suspected you're not the real Argyle?
No, Lieutenant. But the guide who murdered Argyle in the caves would know I'm not the right man.
Well, that's the big risk, Peters. That Blix and the girl have somehow been warned by the murderer, or just leading you on. Now, when are you to see Clark?
The longer I wait, the bigger the risk. I think I'll go right now. 821 River Road.
Well, what is it? What is it? Well, don't stand there on the porch gaping.
I'm sorry. May I ask who you are?
I'm Mr. Clark's housekeeper. Come from Oklahoma, and I don't like New Orleans, and I don't like the riffraff that comes to see Mr. Clark. See him you want to see, I guess.
Yes. My name's Argyle.
Well, come in, young man, but don't expect me to announce you. He's in the living room. You can go right in and announce yourself.
All right, thank you.
And tell him not to ring for drinks because I got the baking to do.
Mr. Clark?
Yes?
My name's Argyle.
Come in.
I met a Valerie Arden on the boat from Memphis. She says you need a man for a job in Los Angeles.
Argyle, somebody's trying to wipe us out. They tried to get you in Memphis, didn't they? You see? First you, now me.
You? Do you know who's trying it?
But individual, no. But death for everybody. That's the High Command's way of punishing failures. Look at that double window behind me.
One pane is broken.
3 bullets did it 10 minutes ago. Those 3 bullets are now in my back.
What?
Yeah.
You need a doctor.
It's no use. I'm going to die. Whether you're my friend or my enemy, Argyle, never sit with your back to a window. Now, you better get out of here. You'll be caught for my murder.
Clark.
Say, Mr. Clark, about the bacon, I got to... Say, you, what's the matter with him?
He's dead. He was murdered.
Murdered? Oh, he's all blood. You murdered him, you riffraff. You murdered him.
No, I didn't. Listen, I want you to call the police.
Me, if you didn't kill him, why don't you call him? Where are you going?
I'm getting out of here.
Getting out, you murdering riffraff? But you won't get away with murder. I'm calling the police, and I'm shouting it from the housetops. You murdering riffraff? They'll catch you! They'll catch you!
Hey, you.
What?
You're under arrest, buddy. There was a murder. You under arrest.
Are you the police?
Yeah, me and my friend here. Come on.
Where?
We got a car. Come on, snap it.
I'd like to see your credentials.
Credentials?
Papers to prove you're police.
Sure. Hey, Banks, show him, what do you call them, credentials? Oh. There's our credentials, buddy. Come on, Bing, we're taking this guy for a ride.
Looks like Peters is in trouble. August 25th, 1949, Counterspy on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Whether you're taking your pets on the road or a walk around the block, you need to be aware of heat stroke. Hi, I am Dr. Jose Arce, immediate past president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. It's important that pets get out and enjoy the warm weather and fresh air, but here are some reminders to help keep your pets safe in the heat. Tune into the day's forecast to see how hot it will be. Limit exercise on hot days or schedule walks earlier or later on the day when it's cooler. If outside, stay on the grass instead of the hot pavement. Make sure your pet has unlimited fresh water and access to shade. Never leave your pet in a closed vehicle, and leave your pet at home in air conditioning when you go out. If you see signs of heat strokes in your pet, such as excessive panting, drooling, unsteadiness, or abnormal gum and tongue color, call your veterinarian or nearest emergency clinic. For more info on summer pet safety, visit avma.org. That's avma.org.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Counterspy, August 25th, 1949.
It is late night on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain outside New Orleans. A house with all blinds shut stands secluded behind a grove of cypress trees. And inside the lonely house...
Well, Mr. Argyle, I must say you took a long time to recover your senses.
Oh, Miss Valerie Odd. Were you the one who hit me on the head?
Good gracious, no, Mr. Argyle. That was Bing. For your information, we're in my house, and both Bing and George are in the very next room.
That's interesting.
I brought along some brandy. I thought you might need it.
How about you?
Oh, I don't need a drink. I haven't committed a murder.
Meaning Clark, hmm? Who did it?
You?
Me? You know better than that. Your men must have been watching.
Clark's housekeeper said you did it.
So you grabbed her, too. You work fast.
I couldn't afford to have her screeching all over New Orleans.
Neither could I.
Until I was sure her screeching was useful.
Useful?
You're a counterspy, aren't you, Mr. Argyle?
If I were a counterspy, I wouldn't have shot Clark. I'd have arrested him, wouldn't I? Clark told me somebody was trying to wipe all of us out. Is that you?
He's crazy.
Not anymore. He's dead.
But it's a wild idea. It's absolutely fantastic.
Who's next? Blix?
You saw Blix in Memphis, didn't you?
In the hospital, yes. But you were in Memphis, too. You could have arranged my little knifing. You could have shot Clark tonight.
Mr. Argyle, I think I will have some brandy.
With pleasure.
Thank you.
You're really scared, aren't you? So I guess it's not you who's trying to wipe us out. It's Blix.
Mr. Argyle, why couldn't you be the one sent out from the Home Office to get rid of us all?
If I were, why would I have stabbed myself back in that Tennessee cave?
Wounds can be faked. Where were you knifed?
Here, in the side.
Right there. Oh.
It's a dirty trick to hit me there.
I've made sure you were knifed.
Yes, haven't you? That knocks out your theory of my being the official killer.
But not of your being a counterspy. Maybe you could fool Blix alone or me alone, but not the two of us together. Suppose we settle that now, tonight.
How? Blix is way up in Memphis.
Oh, no. He arrived here in New Orleans this morning, and in a few minutes he can be here and we can find out whether he murdered Clark, and whether or not you're a counterspy. I shall phone him, Mr. Argyle. Meantime, have another drink, won't you?
The conclusion of Counterspy in the case of the murdering messenger, along with another episode of the soap opera Claudia, comes up following these important messages. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, right here on your favorite station.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to MediShare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And MediShare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. MediShare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Counterspy from August 25th, 1949 in the case of the murdering messenger.
Harding speaking. Go ahead.
Lieutenant Fabian, Mr. Harding, I got bad news.
Let's hear it, Lieutenant.
We saw Peters come out of Clark's house fast. But before he could reach us, two men grabbed him and took him away in a car.
Well, did you follow?
Oh, we lost him on a turn, Mr. Harding, so we went back to the house and found Clark shot to death. You any idea where Peters is?
No. But I'm on my way to your headquarters with a report on Blix from Memphis. He was the one who abducted the real guide in the caves, took his place, and murdered Argyle.
But Blix knows Peters is not Argyle. It's lucky they caught him in Memphis.
They didn't catch him in Memphis, Lieutenant.
Oh?
He's probably here in New Orleans right now. And he's the one who knows that Peters is a plant. We've got to find him and stay close to him, or Peters won't live out the night.
My dear Valerie, how exquisite you look, as always.
Hello, Blix. We've been waiting for you.
And Mr. Argyle, as I suggested in Memphis, it is a small world, isn't it?
And getting smaller.
Blix, something's gone seriously wrong among us. Clark was killed earlier tonight.
Oh?
Perhaps because he became too expensive. Like you, Blix. And me. And Mr. Argyle.
I wasn't aware that Mr. Argyle was so expensive.
He is, if he's really a counterspy.
She's crazy.
Blix, you ought to know. You saw Argyle in Memphis. He is a counterspy being in Georgia handy. They can take care of him tonight.
Valerie, you're being ridiculous. I trust Mr. Argyle as much as I trust you.
And how much is that? If Argyle's to be trusted, then who tried to kill him? Who murdered Clark? Blix, have you been sent here to get rid of us all?
Valerie.
What?
I heard a car outside. Where are your men?
In the front room. Why?
Go and ask them about the car.
But...
Please trust me, Valerie. Go and see.
Very well.
Listen, Argyle, don't waste a second. Both our lives depend on it. I know you're not really Argyle. I've known it since I saw you in the hospital in Memphis. I realized then that my game was up, so I sent you along to meet Valerie and Clark purposely, as evidence of my goodwill. You are a counterspy, aren't you?
What if I were?
I'm ready to tell you everything you want to know about this spy group, in exchange for your letting me go free.
So you're the man sent out to wipe out this group?
Mm-hmm. The information the real Argyle sent us turned out all wrong. All of us are supposed to pay for that.
You don't add up, Blix. If you've been betraying your own friends by exposing Valerie Arden and Clark to me, why did you murder Clark?
A shrewd question, Mr. Argyle, or whatever your real name is. Frankly, I thought it best at the last moment to make myself look good, both to my own people at home and to you. Whatever happened, I'd have a good story to tell.
Smart boy.
Now, if you're really a counterspy, well, let me go free. I can save us both from this woman, those two plug-uglies. If not, I'll have to kill you. Now.
Did you really hear a car outside?
Of course not. What's your answer?
I'm sure I hear a car. Maybe two.
You're evading my question, Mr. Argyle. That means that you're not a counterspy. Yes, I see I've made a mistake. That's easily corrected with a gun.
Drop your gun, Blix. The house is surrounded.
What? Drop it, Blix!
Got it, Mr. Harding.
Sorry. That was so close, Peter.
All right, now, how about the woman?
Lieutenant Fabian, these men are out front. They've already got her and her two gunmen. And here we've got the murderer of Argyle and of Clark, haven't we?
Mr. Harding, you mistake me. I just made an important offer to this gentleman here. A full report.
Blix, I'll make you an offer. You give us that full report, and we'll see that it reaches the government that employed you. They wanted this ring wiped out. Now you can report complete success with some help from the counterspies.
Tonight's Counterspy program originated in New York, was directed by William M. Sweets, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel-Kramer with music by Jesse Crawford. Counterspy is a Phillips H. Lord production for Pepsi-Cola. Enjoy some Pepsi, ice cold tonight.
August 25th, 1949, Counterspy on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of the soap opera Claudia, this episode from August 25th, 1948.
And now, Claudia. Women drivers. Why didn't she stay on her side of the road?
David, it's too beautiful a night to shout, even at women drivers.
Well, I'd better stay beautiful, too. I'd murder you both if it started to rain. Getting me all the way down from Eastbrook just to go to Coney Island. I'm starting to think I'm as crazy as you are.
You are. That's what's so congenial about you, Mama.
Oh, it's a perfect night for Coney Island. Not too hot and not too cold.
And there are going to be millions of stars.
And 7 million people.
I see one already. Not a people, a star.
That's Venus, the evening star.
Goddess of love. Isn't it bright of her to be the first one to show her face at night?
Only she's not very bright.
Oh, you're so literal.
David, how much further to Coney Island?
Oh, it can't be much further. The traffic's terrific here.
Coney Island. I haven't been there in 20 years.
Why don't you say 30 while you're at it?
Not anywhere near as 30, Mama, but I am almost 20. Though I must say it does feel like 30 sometimes.
She's just in the mood for Coney Island tonight, Mother. A little daft in the noodle.
Do you suppose Coney Island has changed since I've been there?
I don't think you've changed since you've been there either.
You're right, David, she hasn't. A little taller, perhaps, but that's all.
It used to be enormous, all roller coasters and bright lights and frozen custards.
She thought of her stomach first then, too.
First and always.
Always? What else do you remember? I think you were only 4 at the time.
My father was with us.
Coney Island was his idea.
Just the way it was David's today.
Only our son isn't 4 years old.
At least we have one. He'll be 4 someday.
Sooner than you think, too.
Everything sooner than you think. Let's see, what else about Coney Island? I know the Ferris wheel. I sat way up on top of the Ferris wheel. I remember the ocean stretching far away.
She was such a little thing, David. The 3 of us sat together, just as we 3 are sitting together now. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have come with you tonight.
You're not crowding us, Mama. Plenty of room for 3.
And you're not too old, Mrs. Brown.
I wonder. It's been a long time since...
No, nobody's ever too old for Coney Island, didn't you know? Nobody's too young for it either.
Thank you for thinking for me, too, David.
Well, we'll see.
Pretty soon, too. We're almost there.
I can smell the ocean. Oh, I love the ocean. David, it's too bad we haven't got an ocean instead of a brook on our farm.
I'll have it arranged the first thing in the morning.
Good. Mama, what are you thinking about so seriously?
Just thinking of all the amusement parks I went to with your father. There always seemed to be one close by. In New Hampshire one summer, that was before you were born, and there was one in Virginia. You were a year old then, and another in Delaware.
Heavens, you certainly bought out the amusement park market, didn't you?
Seems like a great many looking back.
Confidentially, David, I think my father and mother were just as crazy as we are.
You two are sober citizens by comparison. Don't be so smug.
Oh, we can't even be crazy uniquely.
All right, now, women, make up your minds. Where do you want to go first?
I want to begin at the beginning and end at the end.
But who's to say where's the beginning?
David, why don't you just park the car and we'll tack Coney Island from the boardwalk?
Good.
Mrs. Brown, you have spoken like a veteran. The boardwalk first.
Look at the boardwalk. It stretches for miles and miles and miles.
It hasn't changed. Hardly at all.
Amusement parks never do. They're the one thing that doesn't grow old,
David,
Mrs.
what's that
Brown.
man shouting over there? See him?
I think he's selling can openers.
Let's go over and see. Come on.
You don't want to buy a can opener?
Of course not, but just look at him. Look how hard he's working. The least we can do is listen to him.
Come on, David. There's no use resisting.
I suppose we'll get through this huddle a little faster by just letting her on her own way, huh?
Just remember, Claudia, we have 3 perfectly good can openers at home.
I told you, Mama. I wasn't intending to buy one.
It's not the money, darling. It's just that it's a nuisance to lug a package around when we go on the rides.
Of course,
That's all.
David. I know what you're arguing about.
This super-duper can opener, the only one of its kind, opens the can and holds on to the lid afterwards so it won't drop into your edibles. Now crowd around, folks, and stand closer. And I don't crowd too much. Here's enough can openers for each and every one of you. Now,
Sounds amazing.
this little article is guaranteed.
Does any one of our can openers do that, Mama?
Not a one. I don't think any of ours have half the personality this one
Neither do
has.
I. Come on, let's step closer.
Now remember, girls, you're only here for the rides, huh?
Yes, David. Of course, stop worrying,
Now
darling.
step closer, ladies. Step closer. Let me see the whites of your eyes. That's right.
Now, that's an old trick. He gets you so close you're afraid not to buy something.
Now, here we are. Notice the beautiful stainless steel finish in this gadget. Spotless, forever clean and pure. Now, notice the sharpness of the teeth, self-grinding. You'll never have to have them ground. And now I demonstrate, and hold on to your hats, because never in your life have you seen such a can opener. No modern kitchen, no housewife who prides herself on the efficiency of a kingdom should allow another moment to go by without buying such a can opener. Observe.
Easily it cuts, Mama.
I'm watching, Claudia.
As easy as a steak knife through butter.
It really looks just that easy.
What will they invent next?
And now notice, come closer, ladies. I don't want you to miss the climax of this demonstration. Notice how this can opener grips, and I mean grips, the separated lid of the can.
It actually does.
I can see for myself.
And there you are. Now, have you ever seen anything with the like of it? Perhaps you have, but at what a price? This can opener in New York City proper costs at least $1.00. But what do you pay for it here? The same can opener, the very same, but cheaper because we have no expensive display and you are buying it directly from me. You pay only 25 cents, 1/4 of a dollar, 2 bits, 2 dimes, and 1 nickel.
Mama, what do you think?
We don't dare, do we?
Oh, I guess not.
Now, just one moment, please. Do not push and crowd. Take your time. Now, listen to my full offer. With this can opener, I sell you this plastic apple corer, this sensational new apple peeler. And wait a minute, that's not all. And this special artistic instrument for cutting your vegetables into attractive forms and shapes.
Mama, what a
Yes,
buy.
it makes your
You remember
vegetables
what
more
David
attractive
said.
as
Look at
well
me look
as
so
nutritious.
serious. I wouldn't dare buy anything.
Now look here. These 4 articles, unique and indispensable.
Unique and indispensable.
Every good housewife appreciates that. Would sell in New York City proper for at least $4.30. And for what do I give it to you? $1, 1 single dollar, an old dollar or a new dollar, 100 pennies, 10 dimes, or 20 nickels. Now, who's going to be first? Speak up. Speak up, don't be shy. There's a limited quantity, so speak up.
I'll have one.
David!
Here's your dollar.
Thank
My
you.
own son-in-law.
To the gentleman in the blue tie, here you are, sir, and you'll never be sorry.
I'm
Never.
sure I won't be.
All right.
Will I?
David, what have you done?
You know these never work when you get them home.
Claudia, my bride and love, a present for you. Just what you've been pining
Oh,
for.
don't pull that on me, Mr. David Norton. These kitchen implements are yours.
No, I bought them for you.
Oh, Mama.
Ah, Claudia.
I wonder what came over me.
Nothing came over you, darling. In Coney Island, even men are suckers. Isn't it wonderful?
All right. Believe what you will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Hey,
Come on, let's get out of here, quick.
There too, David.
Where you can take a free breath without having to pay for it. On to the merry-go-round.
I wish this thing would stop. I'm getting dizzy.
David, I've caught 14 rings so far.
Come on, giddy up, War Admiral, giddy up. Hi-ho, Silver!
You look just like you're riding the rain.
We'll stride the kitchen stove. Heavens, I must be dizzier than I think.
David, I caught 19 rings.
And what'd you get?
Look at this beautiful funny-faced doll, all mine.
Oh, I'm way ahead of you.
How many did you catch?
With one ring, I got a beautiful funny-faced doll, too.
Where, David?
Behind the nose that I'm about to kiss.
Oh, darling, I still got the best of the bargain.
Phew! I'm all askew.
Mrs. Brown, you look stunning askew. Let's be on our way. On to the roller coaster. I'm after you, Mrs. Brown.
On that thing? I should say not.
Mama, you were going on those things before I was born.
All the more reason I don't have to do it now.
Oh, but look at what it says. The thrill of a lifetime, breathtaking, death-defying, the 90-degree drop, the Alps of Coney Island.
David, hold me tight, David.
Come on, how you doing, Mother?
Never again.
Here we go. Hold on, here we go.
Even I'm tired.
Thank goodness.
And stuffed. Peanuts, frozen custards, I don't know what I've eaten.
I must have been on at least 20 rides, not counting the batch in the Crazy Fun House.
Well, I've saved the best one for last.
You mean there's one we haven't been on?
Oh, yes, the Ferris wheel.
Not for me. I've had enough, and this time I mean it.
What about you, darling?
Oh, never enough without a Ferris wheel, David. David, look at the ocean stretching away. I feel 1,000,000 miles above the earth, swinging way up here in this little cage. Don't you?
Oh, just like sitting on a cloud.
See Mama by the bench down there, all alone again.
Well, she's had her amusement parks, too. She doesn't mind now.
I know. Coney Island. Look at all the bright lights. Beyond them, the night, all dark. Here, it's all music. Everyone smiles.
And no one grows old.
It's only an island. Like fairyland, you always wake up.
Yes, I guess you're right. But still, there's another way to think about it. There are Coney Islands every place, darling. That is, they're there for those who want to find them.
I've found mine for life. Kiss me, David. Way up here in the middle of heaven, where there's nobody to watch but the angels.
Breakfast to cook, dishes to do, beds to make, and house to clean. And that's just the beginning for most of you women who superintend households. Why not take a breather, pause, and refresh with ice-cold Coca-Cola? It's coming to you. And it actually helps get your jobs done when you refresh along the way. Coke costs so little that everyone can afford to work refreshed.
Whew, Mr. King, do I look the way I feel?
Well, judging by the way you look, Well, how do you feel, Mrs. Brown?
Completely undone. To the four winds. Exhausted.
You don't really look that way. You look calm, collected, and as Claudia would say, cool as a pickle.
It's very sweet of you to say that, but oh, well, we're on our way home, so it little matters.
Did you enjoy yourself?
We had a perfect time. Make-believe land is always fun, isn't it?
I think so. All kinds of make-believe land. Coney Island, circuses, the theater.
The theater? That's Claudia's favorite kind.
Well, good. She's going to have her chance at it.
Really?
Well, you've always thought Claudia was a very good actress, haven't you?
Well, not bad.
The proof of the pudding is in the making. Your daughter, Mrs. Brown, is going to have her chance to prove herself.
I'm rather looking forward to that, so I'll be around tomorrow. See you, Mr. King.
Goodbye, Mrs. Brown. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
From August 25th, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A reminder, if you'd like to start building a classic radio collection of your own, contact my friend Ted at radiomemories.com. He provides shows on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer. That's radiomemories.com. And the media shows are at a very reasonable price. radiomemories.com. Hope you'll take a moment to thank this station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. Our shows are available through my webpage, which is classicradio.stream. At classicradio.stream, you can stream our shows on demand. We have a listing of podcast locations and podcast applications where you can download the shows or download them to your phone. You can also learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. And you can also find our social media links there, our Facebook and Twitter links, where we are on both those locations. You can also contact me, and if you like what we do, you can buy me a coffee. That's at classicradio.stream. Thank this station, support their advertisers, and tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.